Good morning, everybody. Um, I'm on a little late because I forgot something in my car, so I had to go get it real quick. But anyway, it's been a strange week, kind of a predictable week with stuff going on in the media. Leonard is supposed to be joining us sometime soon. He's on the road. I think he said to Montgomery for a march or something like that. But when he gets on, he can explain it. It's been uh, crazy, as I said, yet predictable week. Um, After we saw all of the things go on with the Supreme Court a couple of weeks ago, or 2 or 3 weeks ago, or whatever the time frame is, everybody started moving quickly to at least the southern states, certain states, move quickly to do redistricting to get rid of seats held by Democrats in Tennessee. Um, oh shoot, what other? Tennessee, Louisiana, and Alabama. They did that within a few days of this. Um, and it's crazy how fast I think it was Alabama, the judge, I mean, the governor called back did a special session, decided to do a special session on for this, for redistricting. And I know they did in Alabama. I'm pretty sure I'm not sure if they did it in Louisiana as well. Um, but they did it. And now they've drawn new maps or attempted to draw new maps that have basically gotten rid of Democratic held seats because the Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom and its stupidity, said that race can't be a factor, which is kind of funny considering race is a factor when Republicans do it because they're trying to dilute uh, uh, um, dilute black influence in politics in congressional races. So their race is a factor in that because they're not because it's funny because they said this is the thing. So I heard somebody say the other day, which I thought was quite funny. He said black people should have the right to vote for a Republican. Now, this is the crazy thing. Having a majority black district does not say a Republican can't win that. There's nothing that says that. There's no rule or anything like that that says that Republicans can't win those seats. But the problem is Republicans, one, come up with what's the phrase I'm looking for? Come up with legislation that's detrimental to black people. People, period, actually. But they draw a lot of they go out of their way to do things that will harm the black community. And they've been doing that. Going all the way back to Reconstruction. They've been doing that. I should say the end of Reconstruction, because a lot of places in the South, it was right up during Reconstruction. There were a lot of black elected officials during that time, and especially in the state houses, so they weren't. So this notion that a Republican that these majority black districts won't ever elect a Republican is more along the lines of when are the Republicans going to do something to make black people want to elect them? Let's say that. When are they going to stop coming up with policies that are racist, that are detrimental to people in the black community? That's what we need to be. That's the question they need to be asking. Because if people made the phrase of been saying that Republicans only win if they cheat. If you are making policies, if you're making good policy, People will, and I repeat, people will vote for you if you come up with policy, you implement policies that help them. They will do that. Or at least they perceive will help you, will help them. But you're coming up with policies that are trying to stifle the black vote. You're doing that. And it doesn't make any sense. Why not just come up with policies that help people? I've often said the phrase "a rising tide lifts all boats." So if you're doing policies that help everybody, then everybody will support you, except for those people who just don't want to support you to begin with. But if you and the party that you represent keep putting up policies that are detrimental to me and my family and my community, hell no, we're not going to support you. That will never happen. So it's not us, it's you. It's just that simple. It's not us, it's you. If you want to win our vote, you have to earn our vote. Now, this whole knowledge, this whole narrative that people are putting out that the Democrats don't earn our vote, that's some bullshit. And we all know it's some bullshit. And I'm sick and tired of ignorant ass black people saying that shit. You have one party, this whole thing of the notion of two wings on the same bird. That's some bullshit. That's the most ignorant shit I ever heard in my goddamn life. Well, I can't say the most ignorant. It's right up there. To say that one party that is trying to get rid of our rights, actively trying to stifle our voice, is the same as a party that's at least trying something to help us. One that is actually coming up with policies that will help our community as a whole, help the country as a whole. And you got one that only gives a damn about certain people. And it's not even a racial issue. It's not a racial issue right here. The Republican Party is literally destroying this country. They're destroying it from within. I know they've been saying for years that the enemy's within us, and they've been trying to paint that as Democrats. Motherfucker, that's y'all. That's straight up y'all doing that shit. There is no, the Democrats are trying to destroy the country. We can see in real time what Republicans are doing to this country in real time. It's not something we have to look in the history books for. The shit that they're doing is worse because they're trying to dismantle this country from within. That has never happened in the history of this country. Never. That has never happened. Even in the most racist, ass backwards times in this country, you have never had a group of people who actively tried to destroy this country. Well, I take that back. Maybe during the Civil War. That's some fucked up shit to be compared to the Civil War, prior to the Civil War, and during the Civil War. That your policies are so bad that it's being compared to the Civil War, where this country was literally divided and fighting each other. That you're being compared to that era. Your policies are being compared to that era. That's some shit right there for your ass. And for these ignorant ass black people to come and say they are the same thing, two wings of the same bird, that's some bullshit. Either you not being honest with yourself or you fucking lying to us. Either way, you know that's some bullshit. That is some straight bullshit. And I'm tired of y'all coming on, you social media activists, coming on here saying that bullshit. Motherfucker read one goddamn book and think they know everything, but don't put nothing in context. That's what we have, social media activists. Ain't read a fucking book since they graduated from high school or college. Either you willfully ignorant or you just want to fuck with the rest of us. Either way, keep your stupid ass bullshit opinions to yourself. Keep that shit to yourself because the shit that you're doing is detrimental to my people, me, my family, my community, and our future. It's detrimental because you keep coming up with this bullshit. Keep that shit to yourself. If you want to remain fucking ignorant, keep your ignorance to yourself. We don't need to hear that shit from you. Last week, I said that we need to do hold on. Yeah, we on. I'm on. This is Lenny calling me, y'all. Sorry. Oh, damn. Hey, you do realize I'm live right now, right? See, you could have texted it to me. You know that, right? All right, bye. Trying to remain professional. People just won't let you remain professional. All right, so let me send an invitation to oh shoot. I guess there we go. All right, so we as of this week, Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, wasn't going along with the call a special session thing. He wasn't doing that. And I don't know where he got pressure from because I really and truly have no idea what Brian Kemp is trying to do. He know this shit is wrong. That's why he didn't want to do it to begin with. He decided to call a special session. And when he did that, to do redistricting. Now, this is the crazy thing. And let me tell you something else he did too. He's going to try to redistrict the Atlanta area. Kemp and you stupid ass Republican legislators, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. All you're doing, if you try to loop the basically the African American vote in Atlanta area, you have fucked up for real. You are going to create something that you do not want. You will lose more seats than you will gain. I can guarantee. You will lose more seats than you will gain. Hold on one second, y'all. I apologize. Then it wants to be invited into this thing. All right, I sent it to him. So let me get back to y'all. What he's doing, because if you try, like I said, you try to loop the African American vote in Atlanta area, majority of the Democratic stronghold is in Atlanta area. Atlanta, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Cobb County, Clayton County, Douglas County. That's a lot. And there's other areas around there, but those counties right there, huge concentrations of Black people. If you get rid of the seats that are held by Nikema Williams, the late what's his name? I just literally just saw something with his name on it. Scott, the late Congressman Scott, Hank Johnson. Who else? Isn't it? I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she was elected after her son was killed by this racist guy in Florida. But those if you try to eliminate those seats, they have majority Black people, and you dilute that and you put them in the Republican area. You really in the Republican held seat. You really and truly think those people are not going to vote anymore? Do you really and truly believe that they're not going to vote anymore? People, for the most part, are popular in the area. And what you're doing is energizing those people. But you know what? I'm not even gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say anything. Yeah, Lucy Macbeth. Thank you, Angie. I'm not gonna say anything. And the reason why I'm not gonna say anything, because I want these stupid motherfuckers to do it. I want them to redistrict in the Atlanta area. Because they're gonna lose seats. You're pissing off my people, the people of Atlanta, and if you think that they're not going to vote because they're redistrict, no, it's gonna make it worse for you. So go ahead and do it. Brian Kemp and your stupid ass wisdom, go ahead and do it. Georgia Republican legislators, go ahead and do it. And on top of all of that, something else that Brian Kemp did, that he tried to slip into the dead of the night. He wrote a resolution that said the district attorneys in Fulton County, DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, Douglas County, and Clayton County, I think those 5, that they have to, those will be nonpartisan elections. Now, just to explain, those who know, nonpartisan is this. Instead of it having the candidate having a Democrat or Republican behind their name, it's not going to have any party affiliation on it. So he's saying those should be nonpartisan elections. Now, there are 154, if I'm not mistaken, 150 plus counties in the state of Georgia. Why is he only concerned about those 5? 154. Thank you, man. Why is he only concerned about those 5? Because those 5, ironically, those 5 district attorneys in those counties are all Black women. Every single one of them is a Black woman. Now, Douglas County isn't including that, but the last time I checked, the district attorney in Douglas County is a Black woman too, because I actually know her. I've been on a panel with her years ago. So this whole thing of, well, we want to do nonpartisan elections, but you're only doing it in 5 counties, 5 majority Black counties, or 5 heavily Democratic counties in Georgia. You're not doing it any other place. Only those 5. And the crazy thing is, he thinks he's gonna get away with that shit. Now, I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I have read a few things on the Constitution. And one constitutional one amendment specifically addresses that. The 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. So you can have a separate system for the 5 counties in the Atlanta area than you have in the rest of the state. You can't do that shit. That shit's unconstitutional, according to the 14th Amendment. Like I said, I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I can motherfucking read. I can read. And I did read that part. The 14th Amendment says equal protection under the law. So you cannot come up with something separate for somebody else. That's basically the whole separate but equal shit all over again. That's what he's come up with. And he thinks that shit gonna fly. It's not gonna fly. It's gonna be challenged in court, and he's trying to do it for this election. That's the crazy thing. He's trying to do it for an election that's all, at least the primaries have already started. So he's trying to do it for that. And it's not going to change anything because the people who vote know who their district attorneys is, who the district attorneys are. And unless they are not pleased with their district attorney, they're still going to vote for him. They're still going to win. But he's doing this shit because he thinks, I have no idea why this dumbass is doing this. I have no idea because there is no advantage to them. They gain nothing from this. Redistricting in Georgia Republicans don't gain a damn thing in Georgia from that. They don't gain a damn thing for this nonpartisan DA thing. They gain nothing. So I don't understand what his logic is. Why he thinks this shit gonna work. This shit not gonna fly. Maybe because he's never gonna run for elected office again. Maybe he's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fuck up everything. Maybe that's what he's doing. I have no idea. But it's not gonna fly. You can't redistrict something and then or at least in my opinion, I don't think that shit is legal. Do redistricting when elections have already started. Like in Louisiana, the governor suspended elections. 45,000 people had voted. He suspended elections in the state. We're gonna do redistricting. Motherfucker, that shit ain't legal. You can't, so we're gonna invalidate 45,000 people's votes. Just invalidate. Y'all vote don't count. That's not legal. And there's no federal judge, at least a real federal judge, anybody that's actually gone to law school would say that shit is legal. It's not legal. I ain't been to law school and I know it ain't legal. Bless you.
Thank you.
So, I've been, and it's this whole thing has got me I've been on something the last 2 weeks, I guess. I've been on something because I've been on Facebook Live, coming on live, just impromptu things. No agenda, not say agenda, no script, no nothing, just coming on there and seeing stuff that I observe. And it hurts me to my soul to see things that I'm seeing. And it should be bothering you too. One other thing I'm going to say, then I'm going to let Leonard say something. I don't know if he is prepared to say something, but I just saw something. One of our classmates, Kevin Sullivan said something, reposted something, talking about the number of people who had voted in Augusta as of Thursday. I think it was Thursday. This week. How about it was less than 15,000 people? Closer to maybe about 12,000 people who had did early voting. 12,000 people. That's ridiculous. The number of people between 18 and 35 that voted early was less than 500. That's crazy. Like, what do you want to happen? What do you expect to happen? If you don't vote, what do you expect to happen? We can't keep doing the same thing and expect something different. Now, I don't know if they're listening to these so-called celebrities that everybody think is smart because they're a celebrity, when half of them are dumb as shit, they just lucked up. I don't know if they're listening to them or they just don't think voting is relevant. Or I have no idea what it is. But the fact that less than probably about 12,000 people, only 12,000, less than 12,000 actually. Well, no, a little over 12,000. A little over 12,000 people have voted in Augusta, and we've had 2 weeks of early voting. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So, Leonard, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna read some of these comments because I can't read them and talk at the same time. I'm not that smart.
We know. We already knew that part. You don't have to.
Thank you.
You don't have to publicly say something we already knew. We're at a sandbag moment. That's the best way I can give it to you. We're at a sandbag moment, and the dike has broken. There's a hole in it. And typically when you go to any community that's sitting on a riverbank and the dike is broken, the whole community comes out and starts filling the dike up with sandbags. Everybody's on the same page, which is we need to get as many sandbags here before this river rises. And, I'm headed right with my mother-in-law in the car to all roads lead back to Alabama. Huh?
Hold on. Your mother-in-law in the car and I'm doing all this cursing? I apologize, mama-in-law.
Yeah, you already passed that. She like this.
I apologize.
she like this.
See, you need to warn a brother about stuff like this. You just can't.
You told me last time you told me don't tell your business, so I don't tell anything about you anymore. I just let you do you.
No, I'm just saying. All you had to say was You could have said when you called me on the phone, you could have said, "Hey, my mother-in-law's in the car watching language." You could have said that, but no, you gonna let
you
me
took.
go on a tirade. You gonna let me go on a tirade. Your mother-in-law's in the car. I apologize, ma'am. Your
Look,
son-in-law ain't no good. He ain't tell me that you read, so I apologize.
hey, I wanted to be known that everybody witnessed you tearing me a new one and talking about. You do know I'm on live, right? I didn't have a chance to tell you anything because you had already started ripping me a new one. So when was I gonna have a chance to say anything?
Don't come on. You gonna call me on the phone when I'm live. That's on you.
And then you kept running your mouth. So can I finish my point?
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
You know, the question is, what are you doing to put a sandbag in the dike? That's the question. There's really no other question. What are you doing to put a sandbag in the dike? And I'm gonna keep having my ear, is that the right word, to black men, and because black women out here doing the damn thing, and I think this was set up by a black woman. The Landry recall that has over 100,000 people in Louisiana was set up by two black women. What are you doing to fill up the dike with your sandbag? That's all there is to it. Everything else that you want to talk to me about, I'm like, Kenneth, this is supposed to be my season. I'm supposed to be watching the NBA playoffs, but I can't even watch the NBA playoffs with any pleasure, worried about this stuff and worried about what we're gonna do or what we aren't gonna do. You know, I mean, Kenneth and I have had that conversation, and other people. We just sit this one out. Okay, well now you see what sitting out got us. Now you got all the information and all the evidence of what sitting out has gotten us, and anybody with any ability to see fully understood that what they were worried about and what they're hoping is too late to do anything was awakening black people. That's why they keep talking about woke, because they're scared to wake up a community that typically moves in one way, like a snake. And so now they're panicking. They're trying to codify this. They're trying to put it in the Constitution. And Kenneth and I have many disagreements. We have one. They don't care about the Constitution. What they're trying to do is get it to the point. They're trying to do is get it to the point, and they were hoping that we stayed asleep long enough. We were sipping our tea. We would have our feelings hurt with Kamala losing. We were gonna stand back, and it's not our fight. What is it? Is it? Ask your friends. Is it your fight now? Like, if all of you didn't know that the Voting Rights Act was on the agenda, was the ultimate thing to be on the agenda, are you awake now? Are you shamed enough now to say that, hey, you know what? Your kids and your grandkids not gonna have the same rights that you have? Are you motivated yet? Because it doesn't seem to me that that many of us are motivated. And now they're coming after the big kahuna, you know, because now the social media fight has started over Atlanta. You know, you got some of the podcast bros out there saying, yeah, get Atlanta. Now that you got social media and they're coming after the big kahuna, which is Atlanta, what are you going to do? You know, the time for talking now is over. The time for acting like cowards is over. The time for saying I'm not going to do anything, that's over. It's just over. All that is over. And my mother-in-law.
Okay, can't hear what you're saying. This man is pumping gas and talking. We can't hear nothing he's saying. He's just talking, just pumping gas and talking, gas and talking, gas and talking. Gaslight. He's gaslighting us right now. Somebody text Leonard to tell him he can't hear nothing he said. Oh my God. You know, I'll say this, y'all. And I Leonard and I, when we do this, we try to inform people and all that about what's going on, about what we're doing, about what's going on in our community and all that. But we also try to have fun with this. And I'm just having fun right now because this man is talking. He's having a deep, in-depth conversation with himself because we can't hear nothing he's saying. So listen, until he gets back in his car and we can hear what he's saying, let's go. And Harry, yes, white supremacy is narcissistic. It is narcissistic. They bank on that black people are going to be complacent, and I don't know why. I don't know why they think it's going to work this time. Because I'll tell you this. I was driving around earlier and listening to YouTube music videos, and a song from the '90s came up on there in my algorithm. I've always liked the song, but I paid attention to it today. Like I said, I've always loved the song, the music, and all that. And it's The Blackness. I'm Optimistic. That's what it's called. But it was by Sounds of Blackness. Came out in the early '90s. I think it was early '90s, and it was the song. Basically, how it spoke to me. It said, "No matter what happens, we still gonna be here. You can throw everything at us. We still gonna be here. You can try and suppress our vote. You can try to take us out. We still gonna be here. We still gonna be that thorn in your side. We still gonna be that chronic pain that you have. That's what we are. To these races, black people, we're that thorn in their side, that chronic pain that they can't get rid of. No matter how much medicine they give each other, no matter how many drugs they take, no matter what they do, we're still here and we're going to be here. Now, you can either stop killing yourself, in other words, doing stuff that's detrimental to you and your community, and get along and just let us just live in harmony or whatever, or you can still continue to have that pain. Because we're going to be that pain. We're going to be that thorn in your side. We're going to be that chronic pain. We're going to be that migraine headache, that knee pain. That's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to be. Why is Lenny coming up twice? Okay. But that's what we're going to be at all times to you. No matter what you've done, no matter what you try, we're still here. We are literally still here. Listen. Yeah, hold up. Your boy said, Leonard, why your boy said that you're door dashing right now?
Look. Hey, look. Don't knock door dashing. Look, y'all keep letting these white folks push our rights back. All of us gonna be door dashing. All of us gonna be door dashing.
They keep this agenda. Ain't nobody gonna be able to afford DoorDash.
Right.
DoorDash ain't cheap. So, I mean, the thing about it is, everything that they've tried, everything that they keep trying with us, it doesn't work. It's a temporary thing. As I said last week, we need to adapt, pivot, and overcome. That's what we've always done. We've adapted to whatever they come up with. We've pivoted and we overcame it. This is just the latest version of what they've been doing all along. This is the latest version. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to read these comments too, so please.
Hey, get it. Hey, just for everybody, that goddamn Trump, it costs me normally $40 to fill up my damn Accord. I'm at $72. $72. And I blame this on all them Negroes that didn't come out and vote. I don't think I'm ever going to get past that. I don't think anybody should ever walk up to me and say they didn't vote or participated or voted differently in 2024. I don't think I have forgiveness in my heart for that.
I don't. I can't forgive them. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Even the other part of it too. I can't forgive the people who did the third party thing too.
Mike, tell Mike, nope, I can't. I'm at a point in my life.
Now you know that everybody knows.
And here's the thing, Kenneth.
A third party would never win the national election here. They
And
know that. But they still want to push that bullshit every 4 years.
here's the thing. Was that why Marion was calling me to tell me he couldn't hear me? Thank you, Cal. I got the message before it cut off. Here's the thing. You have people like Cal trying to come up with an app to do what we need to do. We to me, it's so obvious what we're missing. You have no capital markets. You don't have any really. Do we even any longer have any institutions that can lead us? And we don't have enough podcasts of our own talking about anything but silly stuff. You know, I don't know if any of you all saw the post that Isaac Hayes III put out, and I put it on my Facebook page, but he put it on his, which reaches like 3 million people. And I'm gonna say this from my mother-in-law. He was like, "Fuck all this other conversation y'all having. Why are you using your podcast to still talk about this stuff, relationships and all that stuff, basketball? All those people are irresponsible at this stage of the game. All of them, even people who I was fans with, you're all irresponsible because when they say existential, this is an existential threat to us. Will we adapt? Will we hang on? Will we? Yeah, but who the hell want? Why is that okay to some people? This battle was already fought. And now you got approximately 5 months because they got a plan. Now they got a plan to make sure this 5 months counts for them. They're trying to codify. That's why they be doing all these redistricting. They're going for the big kahuna. I believe they're going for the 2/3. If you're a history teacher, they're going for the 2/3 amendment. The dude in Alabama had the audacity to get up there and say he hopes they rescind the 14th Amendment. A state senator said he hopes they rescind the 14th Amendment. What are we talking about? There is no other conversation we had in our community.
And I agree with you. I agree with you. We have all these people in these doing these podcasts, and they sitting around talking about bullshit. And because that's what people want to hear. Now I understand, and I understand the escapism of it. Like Leonard said, he wants to be watching the NBA and all that. Mine is football. I love football. I want to watch football. But there's a time and place for all of that stuff. There's a time and place for all of it. Sitting here worrying about and let's say this. Sitting worrying about what happened with between Klay Thompson and what's her name? Megan Thee Stallion.
Right.
Why is that a topic of conversation in our country, in our community? Why is that such a big deal? Who cares? That's between the two of them. Just like any relationship. If they break up, they break up. They stay together, they stay together. Who cares? Why the rest of the world care? Why should I care about their relationship? Why is that a topic of conversation in our community? And all of it is a distraction from important shit in our community. You have people, and like I tell my students this all the time. I said this algorithm shit is crazy because if you start looking at something, it will show you that same thing over and over and over again. That same type of material over and over again. Every day I go to my Facebook feed and I see something idiotic stuff. And I, hit X. I don't want to follow it. And they'll ask me the question, why don't you want to follow? Because I'm not interested in that bullshit. That's not who I am. I don't care. I don't care about celebrity lifestyles. I don't care about I don't care about. I'm getting to the point where I don't even care about musicians anymore. Who came out with a new song or a new album? I don't even care about that anymore. We got more important things to worry about in our community. That ain't it. That ain't even in the top 10. Hell, it probably ain't even in the top 20 of stuff we got to worry about in our community. But we allow others to dictate what we see and hear, what we learn, what we know about. Just like back in the 90s, and it's our fault. And I'm gonna take responsibility for my part in this too. How we allowed gangster rap to overcome all that conscious rap that was out in the early 90s. How we allowed gangster rap to become rap music or hip hop music. How we allowed that. And we have to take responsibility for that.
Yep.
We got to take it. We can't sit back and say, no, this and that. We allowed that to happen. Because if we had not listened to that music, we might be in a different place in our country. And not to say that it's all our fault, it's all hip hop music's fault, but they played a huge part in that shit. A huge part.
Because we allowed them to define what manhood was. And before
what manhood was,
right.
We allowed to define the black community, period. Not just manhood, the black community, period. Just like we allow these stupid ass reality TV shows to define what a black woman looks like. Who's a black woman? How she's supposed to act. I will never, ever in my life watch an episode of those Real Housewives shows. Never. Because those things, I can see. This is the crazy thing, y'all. I've seen how the behavior of young black women change because of that. I've seen it as a cop and as a teacher. When I got young ladies walking down the hall cursing louder than the boys, more than the boys in the school, that's saying something. That's saying a lot. These are young ladies acting like this. So for us to sit here and say that stuff doesn't have an effect on our community is being disingenuous if you say that. If you believe that, you haven't been paying attention to what's going on. And it also, everything goes around. It's affecting our community as a whole. I think, Lyndon, your thing went out again. You went in the dead zone. Oh, there you go. But yeah.
I'm right here.
Oh, okay, your screen froze. But go ahead and say what you got to say, man. Let me read some more of these comments.
Read the comments. What I would say is, but you ain't got a whole bunch of young girls going out shooting and killing each other. At some point, we're going to have to step in and say, listen, you and I've had this conversation 100 times going on for 4 years now. At some point, African-American men have to step in and make the decision about what dictates rules in our neighborhood and what the consequences, and we're willing to pay to make sure it's our way, not anybody else's way. And, I think, like Stephen A. Smith, you should have to pay a consequence from your community. You haven't mentioned the 1965 vote right, not once in the comments that you've been making. Well, for me personally, I know y'all don't like violence. I think violence has its place. Everybody should be thinking, if you hurt the body politic, there should be enough people out there thinking that, somebody might walk up and slap the tape. For hurting the body politics. They say it's about free speech, but we don't have the same problems, nor do we have the same solutions as everybody else. We need to start acting like it. Just because you can solve that problem in the Asian community that way doesn't mean you can solve it in the black community that way. And if I hear one more person say we not a monolith, well, that's what got us in this trouble in profit. It got us in this trouble in the first place. You think that rugged individualism overtakes the community group. Well, it shouldn't. It shouldn't have. So the question is, what's your sandbag moment? What are you doing to plug in that dike? What are you doing? What are you individually doing? I know what Cal's doing. I know what I'm doing. I'm on the road to Montgomery. Just made the decision to go this morning. And because Dave Benet, Cal put it on her Facebook page. My wife told me about it. It's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna let them just go down here and do it. So what are you doing? What are you individually doing? What are you doing every day up to the election? This is a fire alarm fire. If you think you're gonna be able to take the day off between now and November 4th, everybody should be doing something every day, like Marion and his wife Rosalind. You better be going registered voters. You better be at the hospital. There's no excuse about why they aren't doing it. You better change it and make sure that we get it done by the 6th. This is an existential 5-alarm fight. Because if they win, they're going to retire 2 Supreme Court justices. Even that jackass should have been. He has no fear of his community. So at some point, you guys say, okay, we just checkmated and we just gonna take it and let the next generation, which is crazy because they're trying to codify what they're doing. Or we're gonna get off our asses and throw that strategy of, oh well, man, if I hear one more person, I haven't heard nobody say I'm gonna sip my tea lately. You should have thought about that when you realized 88,000 black women lost their jobs in the government. That should have been enough of a red flag to get everybody up. Not just say, oh, it's a white folks problem. White folks ain't never dealt with this problem. It's always been our community because we suffer the most consequences from it. It's always been that way. Suffer the most consequences. But we're the most consequential. Anyway, read a comment. What's the comment?
Well,
read a comment from the DoorDash.
What was that? That was last name was Long. I'm not sure. I don't know him, so I assume he's one of you.
Last name was Long?
Yeah, Long. David Wiley Long.
Oh, I know David Wiley Long. No, I'm not doing that. Ain't no shame in doing that. No, you better put food on your table.
Well, this is something, Stacy. I highlighted your comment because you said, believe it or not, the reality TV version of Atlanta is what brings young ladies here to college. You got to expound on that. Explain that, because that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would they come to Atlanta because of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Are they coming here because they think they can get a rich dude or something like that? Is that what you're saying? Because I know with our generation, or I guess it's still considered our generation. The Cosby Show did it. You know, everybody. At least I've heard that black college enrollment exploded during the '90s, early '90s, when the Cosby Show was out. Those 8 years it was on, black college enrollment exploded because they saw 2 black professionals who went to a black college and what they can do. So the black students wanted to go to that imaginary school, Hillman, or something like it. So I'm just curious where you came that statement you said. What you mean by that? One thing we need to to see what. Oh, of course, everybody does that. Everybody does that, but I don't see why coming to Atlanta would do it. I guess maybe because they think they can, like I said, maybe they think they can find a dude with some money in Atlanta. We need to, and something that Marion said earlier that I was preaching to the choir. Yes, Marion, I know that. The people who come on here regularly, they understand the consequences of inaction and what we need to do. But every once in a while, we get some people who don't know what to do. And that's why we need to say it. Because one thing that said, people always talk about, if you repeat a lie enough times, people will start to believe it. Well, if you repeat the truth enough times, people should believe that too. And the truth is, we need to get out and vote. We need to get our people out and vote. We really need to do that. We can't sit back and just allow this to happen. We have people who are actively trying. And, people talking about the thing about the Voting Rights Act, and it's been what they rescinded, the Section 2 of it. Black people aren't losing their right to vote. That's what people have been saying. We're losing our right to vote. That sky is falling thing. We're not losing our right to vote. What they're doing is diluting our power, the power of our vote. That's what they're doing. They think by getting rid of Democratic held seats in these southern states, they think that they're going to dilute our power, our voting power. And my thing is, nah, what you're doing is diluting the power of the congressional districts that you're putting them in. I don't care if they're overwhelmingly black. I mean, overwhelmingly white and Republican. You add a few thousand black people into a congressional district, that can change things. Because a lot of these, what they don't understand, these racists don't seem to understand. Nobody likes you motherfuckers right now. Excuse me, mother-in-law, I'm sorry, but I had to say it like that. Nobody likes Republicans right now. Everything that they're trying to do is detrimental to this country. A war that nobody wants. Gas prices going up about $1.50 in the last 2 months. Food prices going up. Services going up. Restaurant bills going up. People going out of business. Farmers going out of business. Farmers who can't even afford to get fertilizer or feed for their, and not feed, fertilizer and gas, diesel gas for the fertilizer for their farms, and then diesel gas to run their farm equipment. You're pissing off the people that actually put you there.
Yeah, but he has a belief.
Don't sit there
He
and
believes
think
that racism
just because
is greater than
you
it.
put people in a, say what?
He thinks racism is greater than that. He believes that people's
But see,
hatred
that's the
of black
thing.
people.
Racism, under normal circumstances, racism probably would be enough. But this is not normal circumstances. This isn't it. If the economy was going good and gas prices weren't up over $4 a gallon around the country, averaging over $4 around the country, these racists wouldn't care. But now it's hurting them for real. And you know, this quote unquote welfare queen, or people who are scamming the government for welfare and services and all that, they're losing their shit too. They're losing these services. So don't sit back and think that these people are going to sit there and vote for you. They're either not going to vote, or they're going to vote for somebody who's like, no, this is some bullshit. And my advice to Democrats: go in these areas that they keep trying to redistrict, even if they haven't done the map. Go out there and talk to the people. Go in these rural areas, because people in rural areas are hurting for real. They are hurting for real. And I would say those people in rural areas, they're hurting just as much, or if not more, than the people in the urban areas. Because in the urban area, in cities, you have more opportunities. What job you got in a rural area? Walmart, a diner, McDonald's. Not to knock those jobs, but those are not well-paying jobs. When you have factories, when you have in some of these rural areas where there's cities, northern cities where factories were good-paying jobs, and those factories are now gone. It ain't Biden's fault. He can't say Biden did it. This is all on him. This is all on Republicans. So they're going to sit there and vote themselves out of office. By voting for redistricting, they're going to vote more Republicans out of office. That's my prediction. Now, I may be wrong. I hope I'm not. But I think that's what's going to happen. And if we need to stop with the narrative of, they're taking away our vote and all that, because that is telling people that we don't have the right to vote anymore. And that's not what they did. They did not rescind the 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, which gave black people the right to vote. I'm sorry, the 15th Amendment, which gave black men the right to vote, or the 19th Amendment, which gave women the right to vote. They did not rescind that. Now, they may be trying to at some point, but they ain't rescinded yet. So that means we have the right to vote. So we need to go out and exercise that right to vote. Exercise that muscle that we have. That's our muscle. We need to stop with that narrative. I know it's the shock and awe value of it, but stop putting that lie out there, because you have people who don't understand the nuance. They don't understand what that means. So they're sitting back. Oh shoot, I lost my right to vote. I ain't gonna vote. That's literally what they're saying. Linda, your turn. I'm gonna read some of these things.
I think what people are trying to convey is you're losing your right to representation. In other words, they are fully aware that white people, not all white people, a lot of white people will not vote for a black candidate. So you move these people into different districts, you don't have enough people concentrated to vote for a black candidate. And
well,
they're going to typically vote for
I understand that part. But you have people who are saying we've lost our right. They're taking away our right to vote. And that's not, and people are taking that literal. That's what I'm talking about. They're saying they're taking away our right to vote. And people are taking that literally because they don't understand the nuance.
Right. I understand that. And then you might have a point there. But I think that because sensationalism works better for those people who don't understand the nuance, that's why they're saying that. And by gutting the 1964 Civil Rights Act, 64-65, Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act, what they've done is essentially they've gotten rid of the enforcement mechanism, and people in these little small towns in Alabama can be intimidated not to come vote, which essentially is taking away your right to vote. Because that's the way it used to be. You had the right to vote and a poll tax. They have tax. But if they called your house, they intimidate the local leader to tell people to vote. Essentially, without an enforcement arm from the federal government, these people can now go back to the business as usual. And at the end of the day, no matter how you want to shake it out, in my opinion, we let it happen. And I agree with Roland. I don't know if anybody saw it, but Marion told me about it when Roland went to Memphis a week and a half ago. Roland didn't pull any punches. He told them, y'all did this. The data center that's here, y'all did this. Splitting up your city, y'all did this. Because I think he said it was 55% African American and only 20% of them voted. Y'all did this. They told you they're gonna do. Y'all weren't. You didn't feel enough pain, so you did this. Your actions did this. Across the South, there's a direct correlation to how many eligible black people didn't vote in the states that were lost. And I just refuse to get into what other groups are doing. We need to focus on what our group is doing, because if we do what we said, if we do what we're supposed to do, none of this comes to pass. Not one damn thing. But we did. So we are where we are. Now the dike is broken. What are you gonna do to where's your sandbag? Where's your individual sandbag? And when you get off this call, you need to think about it. Hey man, what can I do this week? It needs to be intentional and deliberate. What can I do this week to slow this down and to get people out the vote? And I think that's where it should start. And I think I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to support a black celebrity besides Kerry Washington ever again. I'm being dead ass serious about that. Kerry Washington applies. Maybe Taraji. It's not a male black entertainer I'm going to support up to this point. Maybe except what's the other brother, light skinned brother with the that's on y'all know what I'm talking about, but I ain't even seen him. I literally am not interested in watching sports with some of the older, more established guys. I don't want to hear nothing Charles Barkley has to say. I don't. I feel like they all cowards. This is the time for you to step up. We're your community. And Charles from Alabama. We're your community. People say he should not do everything. Hey man, look. With big success comes big responsibilities. Comes with the territory. I don't want to go to Denzel movie. Don't tell me you represent me on the screen. Your job is to get out and get people motivated. They could be in the South. Every last one of them could be in the South in every small southern town like we always talk about. You and I talk about that all the time. A lot of African Americans in the South and rural areas don't feel like they're seen or supported. They could go down there, but they're not. They're not. So I don't know how y'all do it. I can't even. I'm mad at them too because you taking away my form of escape business. So now I might as well just go work out and walk. Because I'm not giving you any of my money. I am taking notes. Shannon Sharp, Savannah State, HBCU, SIAC. You got this big platform. Yes, that one damn thing about that Voting Rights Act. And your mama, and I watched your documentary. Y'all grew up in damn near shack. Why do you think she was in that shack? I don't really give a damn if you date white women. But damn it, you need to be fighting for your community.
Listen, there's
I love to hear what they said about that.
It's amazing how now all of a sudden everybody's coming around to your point of view about boycotting the SEC. You've been talking about that for 2 years.
Thank you, Kenneth.
You've been talking about that for 2 years. Anybody who's been listening to us for an extended period of time, Leonard was saying that 2 years ago that black athletes should not be going to the SEC. Now all of a sudden, it's a national debate. I was like, wow. Here's
my thing. And for people watching, I just don't understand how a parent could let their child go somewhere that's hostile to their humanity. I don't get that. There's no money in the world that I could send either one of my grandkids, recommend them go to University of Alabama. No way. Tuscaloosa is a small town. What happens when they traveling from Tuscaloosa to Atlanta? How could you send your child to go play for the University of Mississippi State? Like, as a parent, that's one of the times I put my foot down. No, you take your ass to the West Coast. You're getting out of here. You're not helping them make any more money. How could you have your kid play for Brian Clark? How could you tell black boys to go play for LSU? And it's damn near the open. Oh, Kim, please, before we leave, because this runs right in what we're saying. You see the guy that got convicted the other day, 20-year-old. Surely y'all saw it of the rapper, and the warden came out and was like, said, don't give him the death penalty because he's 20 years old. We get a lot of sweat equity out of him. He's young, he's strong. We can get all this sweat equity out. If you let him live, we can work him to he's like 72. How could you send your child to a state like that? I don't care how good he is. How? I'm sending to Washington State, California, Colorado, parts of Colorado, maybe Michigan, maybe Illinois. I'm not sending to any governor that is hostile to his humanity. I do not get it. Y'all help me understand that. Somebody said, "What is NIL?" NIL follows the athlete. Let me tell y'all this. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
I had a couple of people make a point, and it did some lady who she was a sister, and she said she went to, I don't know, it was A&T or FAMU, one of the two, and people were reposting what she was saying. we're putting this on our young people to make a decision because we messed up. No, lady. And she said that's too much pressure on them. And and somebody pointed out, and I didn't think about this. During the civil rights movement, who are the people leading the movement? Young people. They were all young. Martin Luther King was 26. The Greensboro, the students at Greensboro, they did the sit-ins. They were college students. A lot of the marches that took place, they were all college students. So this wasn't a thing. CORE, SNCC, college students, every single one of them. Black Panther Party, college students, or college-age students, or college-age people. They were young people. These weren't old people who were leading this. Not one of them was old. Not one of them was old at all. They were all young. So don't sit here and talk about we shouldn't put the burden on young people to do this for our mistakes. Yes, it was our mistakes, some of our mistakes. But the movement needs to be led by young people. Because, and I said, it's not them leading the movement. It's them participating in the movement. And they ain't losing nothing.
There you go.
I'll say this. This is the one thing that I hate about this shit. We think because an athlete, if he only goes to a predominantly white school, that he or she will get in the pros. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you got talent, they will find you.
They will find you.
If you have talent, they will find you. It doesn't make a difference. You can go to Timbuktu University in Songhai in Africa, and they will find you because you have talent. The way things are going now, they will find you. You don't have to go to any of these schools that disrespect you just because, I think my son's going to go pro, or I think my daughter's going to go pro. Let me be a dose of reality. Every year about 10% of the athletes, maybe less than that, get all college athletes get drafted. Maybe 10%. Let's do it. Be generous and say 10% get drafted. That means 90% of them don't get drafted, which means they got to find a job at some point.
And those 90% help make most of the money.
Right.
Because you can't make money without a team. You gotta have a team.
People, I say this. We need to stop diminishing the value of HBCUs. We need to stop that shit as Black people.
Man,
I had somebody that I really and truly love say that shit to me, and that was 20-something years ago, and I'm still pissed about that shit. Somebody I really cared about said that to me. And that person didn't realize how that statement hurt me and pissed me off.
But Kenneth, let me say this. When the movement was happening, at the height of the movement, we had, as Marion says all the time, Leonard, majority of people didn't participate in it. They did. But when the movement was happening, Black athletes could not go to white schools. So the money was staying at the Black schools anyway. And the minute they start recognizing, which Bear Bryant did, because you don't remember this because you were 2 years younger than me, Chip Banks, All-American from Augusta. Chip Banks went to USC. Emerson Boozer left Augusta and went to USC. All the athletes were going to major colleges on the West Coast. And here's the kicker, what I always tell people, and I want people to understand. If Black athletes leave predominantly white schools, the white athletes are going to follow the Black athletes because they want to win. There's not a white top-tier quarterback that's going to go to the University of Alabama if he doesn't think that he has fast wide receivers to throw through or fast running back. He's going where he can win. He has to go somewhere where they look good. That's a domino. I've been saying that for years. And the NIL money is going to follow the athletes. Some of these parents, but I blame this on the parents. At the end of the day, let's just talk about basics. Let's not talk about athletics. Why would you send your kid to a school where a state that's hostile to their humanity? Why would you do that? Louisiana still has Angola prison opened up, the most notorious prison in the country, full of black men. Why would you take that chance? Why would you do that? Punish them. And Louisiana and Alabama, and I use that word strongly, they need to be punished by the black community. Send them no more bodies. That is basketball, football, baseball, or track. And watch what their student body does. You think they want to be 0-11? 2-8? The much money the NAACP and I'm telling you, the NCAA made, they are now plotting to keep your kids at these schools legally. I promise you, that's what the SCORE Act is about.
Yeah,
they should have all hit the
part of it too. Yeah.
That's what the SCORE Act is about. They are plotting legally to enslave your kids and fool you and say, well, we're paying them $100,000 in NIL money. Yeah, but he might not be. He goes on campus and says the wrong thing. And if y'all don't believe this, that this could happen, all you got to do is go back last year. Texas A&M playing Texas at the University of Texas, or was it Oklahoma? And a black wide receiver caught a pass, went into the end zone, was running up the tunnel, into the tunnel, in the middle of the game now. He just got a touchdown, ran into a state trooper who pushed him on national television at Longhorn Stadium. Pushed him and got in his face. The athlete on the field. You don't think there's more dumbass, pissed off white boy cops like that? Why would you send your child to an environment like that? That is, I'm asking, that is so crazy to me. That is so crazy to me.
I want to address something that Don said. Okay, Don, I agree with you. It shouldn't be said we shouldn't send our athletes to these southern cities because both HBCUs are in the South. But we should rephrase it. Don't send them to these PWIs. These Division I schools in these racist states. Send them to the HBCUs or send them out west. Send them up north somewhere. I just really truly believe that we need to, and I'm going beyond. As Leonard said, I mean, don't even send you there for school. Period. Even non-athletes, don't send them. Don't send them our best and brightest. Don't do that.
No, you can't have a little bit of it. You can't pick and choose.
Come home to an HBCU. We send them to an HBCU where it's safe. I really truly believe that because I have been to, and I'm gonna tell y'all this. I attended 2 HBCUs and 3 PWIs. Now just knock out one of them because, knock out one of them because I was a computer student because I was working on my second master's. But the 2 PWIs I went to, Cornell and University of Massachusetts at Amherst, there were student protests about racism on that campus. Have you ever heard of a student protest about racism on the HBCU? Have you ever heard of a student protest about the students don't feel safe because racists are doing stuff to them on that campus? Have you ever heard of that? No.
Yeah, I'll say this.
Excuse me. We want to send our kids to these schools where they're not safe, and it's not. And I'm not just talking about physically safe. I'm talking about mentally safe. Those places are not mentally safe for our people. They are hostile environments. They are hostile. Completely hostile environments. And I say that as somebody who went to 2 of them. I know they are. And that was in the 90s where these schools were pretending that they actually cared about black people. They don't even pretend no more. Since Trump got in, no, it's like, fuck all y'all. They actually pretended they cared about black people back then. They definitely don't care about us now.
Kenneth, here's the amazing thing. Not one SEC coach whose livelihood depends on black players, who comes into those parents' houses and I'm going to treat him like a son. Oh, and he's a father. I hate when I hear like, oh, he's a father figure to him. Not one has come out and said to the state, don't do that. I got players that look like this. Not one. Not Kirby. Not Kiffin. Not Auburn. Not Alabama. Not Tennessee. Not Kentucky. Not Florida State. Not the University of Miami, because the University of Miami thinks they're on an island. I get it. I understand why. Not one coach, not one, has talked about the humanity of his players. Not one. Why in the hell would I send my kid to you? Why would I send my kid to you?
I agree.
But if I was a coach, look, if I was Lincoln Riley, Kenneth, if you're Lincoln Riley, how would you be recruited in the South? When you walked into my house, Leonard White's house with the 5-star cornerback, how would you come to me? I know I'm coming to you. Hey, you ain't got to worry about him having no problems out here with the state and the policy of the state. Send him out here. He at least got, look, the chances of him being, I'm not saying that he won't run into some racist cops, but the chance of being enforced is better out here than it is down there. If I'm Deion, I'm in every house. I'm in every 5-star athlete's house with NIL money, and I'm looking directly at that mama. You ain't got to worry about what's going on in Alabama affecting him. I'm out here. That's how I'm recruiting. That's how I'm recruiting. And I'm gonna say now,
hold on.
What?
Okay. I'm gonna push back Dennis, and he says, two things he said. He said, what's his Paul Robeson was an athlete, actor, song, singer, and playwright. He attended Rutgers. Yeah, Rutgers is in New Jersey. We talking about the SEC. That's one thing. Number two, where do you get that HBCUs teaches assimilation? Did you attend the HBCU? Because I went to 2 of them, and assimilation was not taught there. What they taught me was how to adapt and overcome. That's what they taught me.
Who said that? Who said assimilation?
Dennis Willingham. He said HBCUs teach assimilation. I don't know of anybody who graduated from an HBCU that was taught that they were taught assimilation. Now, depending on the circles that you work in, of course you have to assimilate a certain bit. Because you have to assimilate to the environment that you work in. But assimilation in terms of I'm gonna sit here and turn my back on the black community. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna think. I think that the white ice is colder than black ice. No, they don't teach that shit there. I don't know what school you went to.
I don't agree with that. Yeah,
that.
I don't agree with.
Don't agree with
I don't agree with that.
Him. With me, or
I agree. I think your statement has nuances to it. I think that HBCUs, a lot of them do teach that white ice is better than black ice.
No,
my biggest issue. What? Hey, let me say.
Let's say this.
Maybe
it may be at Morehouse, but it wasn't at Tuskegee or Morgan State.
Okay. What I would say is they did not teach. I've had this conversation with Morehouse brothers. I think they fooled us a lot, and they didn't teach the truth. They taught that you were going to go into corporate America. Corporate America is essentially white America. I understand what Dennis is saying. I just don't know if I agree with his sentiment wholeheartedly. You know, the military teaches you to assimilate, doesn't it, Ken?
Yeah.
Doesn't the military teach you that? Okay, Dennis, weren't you
Yeah,
in the
you don't have
military?
you don't have a choice but to assimilate. Yeah, you don't have to choice
I,
but to assimilate to what they say.
I thought Dennis was in the
Because
military though. I could have
it's
sworn.
oh, I don't know.
I'm
But
asking.
what I say is this: I don't know. You asking the wrong person.
No, I'm asking him. I'm saying if you're commenting and what I know you don't know. That's what I'm asking him. But because if you're gonna throw that statement out there, where haven't they taught a simulation? Shoot, you teach a simulation in your house by going to a white business before you go to a black business that sells the same service. That's exactly what you teach. You teach a simulation when you don't give black business the same grace that you give white business. You're saying they're better.
But
That's
okay,
all.
this is
That's
what
all.
he's saying.
That's black business that.
Now I hold everybody accountable for the same thing. I mean, some people don't.
I didn't say you.
But
I
when he
didn't say.
said, "Oh, listen to what I'm saying." He's talking about IBM, Microsoft, Visa, and people who work in the Trump and work with Trump in China. I'm not sure what he means by Trump in China, but if you're going into a corporate environment, of course there's certain norms that you have to assimilate to. But that doesn't mean you're assimilating to assimilating culturally in your personal life. That's two totally different things. Assimilating to the environment, the environment that you work in is one thing. But once you leave there, once you get off at 5 o'clock or whatever time,
I agree with
that the assimilation should end. And black people, HBCUs don't teach you to assimilate that. They teach you to maintain your culture. That's one thing I can tell you.
I agree with that.
We are big HBCU grads are big on culture, black culture. Hence, the biggest thing about the culture, homecoming. That's the biggest thing at black colleges. Homecoming.
That's what homecoming. Wait.
But they don't have.
And say this. And what is homecoming to HBCUs? It's your opportunity to come back and regroup and re-energize from the bullshit you got to do in the white culture.
That's exactly what it's for.
That's what it is. That's
exactly what it's for. I've been saying for years. I go to homecoming in Tuskegee to revive my soul. That's what I go back there for.
And here's the crazy thing, Jeff.
It's a safe place. It's a safe place for us.
Yeah. Almost every white person that's ever attended an HBCU homecoming comes back going, I felt so re-energized. Even white people feel it. That's why they come back. That's why they come back. So
right. And what Dennis is saying, he's talking about you assimilate in the military. Of course you do. Because that is the military culture. You have to. In a corporate culture, you have to assimilate to a certain extent. That doesn't mean you have to shave off your mustache and your beard and all that and walk around saying, "Hey guy, how are you?" You don't have to do all that. But there's certain norms in that corporate environment that you have to assimilate to. But we're talking about when I'm talking about assimilation, you're talking about assimilating to a corporate environment. Of course you have to do that, a professional environment. Of course you have to do that. And they teach that at every school. But the question is, at 5 o'clock, what do you do?
But Kenneth, here's the thing. Those black companies that were able to get to, let's say, $1 billion revenue mark, and the movie Boomerang was about this. When you spend your money with black companies, which we don't do enough of, and they get to that point where they're as big as their middle-sized businesses. I think there's revenues over $500 million, something like that. They maintain their black culture. They may have rules and regulations, but the culture is the people. They maintain that black culture. You can go into Essence when they were around. They have or Johnson & Johnson and see cornrows and afros. You can go in that to see that. But if you don't go out and support black, we spend $1.74 trillion per year. Me and Marion talk about this all the time. How are there not more black companies on if not the Fortune 500, they should at least be in the Fortune 2000, and they maintain their culture. That's on us. That is on us. Because you still shop at Publix. Like, I kind of chilled out shopping at Publix when I found out that the heiress to Publix was a huge Trump supporter. I can't do it. I can't give her any money. I just can't do it. And
Well,
you know, Kim.
You just hold up. You just who said do HBCUs train or teach?
They do both.
What?
What are you talking about? What's the difference? What's the difference? No, he got to answer that. What's the difference? What's the difference between training and teaching? What's the difference between training and teaching? If I come on your job as a new recruit, Dennis, I come on your job and I'm assigned to you to show me how the job works and to show me what my task is, and you're the expert. Are you training me or teaching me? I mean, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference? I have my issues with HBCU. But what's the difference?
I
what's
just
the
don't understand this goes back to white man's ISIS code. That's what it goes back to. That thinking right there goes back to white man's ISIS code. That they are better. These white schools, these PWIs, are better than HBCUs, and I'm gonna call bullshit on that on every single level. They are not. They are not.
I think what you ought to say is they're better resources.
Yeah, they have more resources. I'll give you that.
But
also that goes back to that goes to the point of something we talked about before: funding. State HBCUs.
I don't think anybody
I'm gonna tell you this, man, and I will never, ever, for as long as I am black, which is gonna be to the day I die, understand how Savannah State, Albany State, and Fort Valley State don't get as much money combined, don't get as much money as Kennesaw State. How Kennesaw State went from being a commuter college that nobody ever heard of to a Division I school having Division I football, Division I basketball, and Division I baseball in the span of the time I moved from New York to Atlanta. Less than that. In 10 years. Less than that. How Georgia State owns damn near half of downtown Atlanta. But yet still, Albany State, Fort Valley, and Savannah State didn't get the same damn funding. They haven't expanded 1 inch in the 40 years that I have been, 42 years that I've been looking at colleges. Make it 43 going back to my junior year. 43 years that I have been studying colleges, looking at college, been affiliated with college, find out what's going on with them. They haven't expanded 1 goddamn inch. 1 goddamn inch. But those 2 schools have exploded. Dennis said he went to Augusta College, Augusta State, whatever the fuck that shit is called. Them motherfuckers have expanded. They've expanded. And you mean to tell me those 3 HBCUs can't get the same funding? So don't sit here and tell me what HBCUs aren't doing. Because with the stuff that they're doing, they are creating miracles with the resources that they don't have. Creating miracles.
Hey, man, look.
Damn. Listen. Now I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off for real. Because that bullshit right there, that mentality right there, is part of the reason why we have problems in our community. Because we always think somebody else's stuff is better than ours. Majority, let's say this. Let's go with this. I'm gonna give you something. Majority of the black veterinarians in the country went to Tuskegee for veterinary medicine school. Majority of them. That little small school in Tuskegee, Alabama, majority of them went there. Black veterinarians. Xavier University sends more black students to medical school than any other university in the country. That one school send more than everybody. One school, that little school in Louisiana,
with less resources. Wait, with less resources.
Majority of the people. And this is another thing too. This is another thing, a stat that I read years ago. Majority of the people who have advanced degrees, black people who have advanced degrees, went to HBCUs. They went to HBCUs. Majority of people who have advanced degrees, black people in our community who have advanced degrees, went to HBCUs first. They went to HBCUs first. So don't sit here and tell me that bullshit that these white schools are teaching our people the way they're supposed to, because they aren't. Majority of the black people who go to these schools, once they finish these schools, they're so goddamn tired of racism, they don't want to go to school no more. Or it takes them years to get back to that mentality. When I was at UMass for 1 damn year, 1 year, I didn't want to see anybody's school. And I was working on my doctorate, and I didn't want to see anybody's school. So don't sit here and tell me that bullshit that white schools are better than our schools. They aren't, and they never will be. They just got more money. If we had the same damn money that they had, shit, look what we could do. Look what we could do for our community if our schools had the exact same money. That whole bullshit narrative that these people, that their schools are better than ours, needs to stop in our community. Now, if you want to rep PWIs because that's where you went, and that's all you know, keep that shit to yourself. You can build school without WHU. Because if it weren't for HBCUs, our people wouldn't be where they were. Because we couldn't go to their schools. We're talking historically. We couldn't go to their schools. And don't think because a student goes to an HBCU that they couldn't get into a PWI. They could. They just chose to be somewhere where it's safe. And that's what we're telling these athletes now. Go somewhere where it's safe. Don't put your life in danger just because you want to go to that damn school. Just because it's one of the top schools in the country for that whatever sport you're in. And say this. And I'm being real honest. I love Dawn Staley, and I love what she's done at the University of South Carolina. But I'll be damned if South Carolina is going to be excluded from this too. It's not.
Oh, no, it's not.
South Carolina is not excluded from this.
No,
it's not. I love Dawn Staley. I mean, I've been following Dawn Staley's career since Dawn was in college.
Virginia.
And I know what she's doing. Publicly, and I met some people who actually know her personally, and they say that public persona of hers, that's her privately, that's her all around, that's her, that's who she is. But I would not send my daughter, if my daughter played basketball and was playing now, was college age, I would not send her to South Carolina. Even though I know she'd be protected by Dawn Staley would be the best thing for her, coaching and all that, to coach her, best person to coach her. I can't do it because of what they're doing in South Carolina. And all the revenue generated by those black girls at the University of South Carolina. Because, let's be real, nobody knows anybody on the University of South Carolina men's basketball team. Nobody pays attention to them. They're not even on. We might see them in the SEC tournament. That's about the only time we see them on the SEC channel. So that sport, women's basketball, is an economic engine that fuels that school, other than football. That's the second largest revenue generator for that school. But I would not send my daughter to that school, simply because of the state of South Carolina, where she can get the same education in South Carolina State. Facilities may not be as good, but at least she'll get her degree. And the ultimate goal for all these athletes, in case y'all didn't know, is to get a degree. Now, if you get to go pro in whatever sport you play, That's gravy. But get your degree. Because one thing, that pro career is gonna end one day. What you gonna do after that? That money that you got in that pro career may not last that long. We see that with a lot of people, a lot of athletes. So what you gonna do after that? And going to these schools is not guarantee, one, that you'll graduate, or two, that you will learn something. Hell, Herschel Walker went to the University of Georgia. He dumb as a box of rocks. He just leveraged his sports career and his thing at University of Georgia to try to run for, was it Senate here?
Yep.
But he dumb as a damn box of rocks. But listen, man, I'm gonna say one more thing, then I gotta go. I got some stuff I gotta do now. You still driving. One thing I want to talk about: local elections. Local elections count just as much as national elections, y'all. Just as much. Because if you think about this, if we had voted in local elections, these southern states would not be trying to, wouldn't be messing with the Voting Rights Act. So they do just as much. And the person who's the mayor of your city has just as much or even more influence than Donald Trump has on your life. Here in Augusta, I'll say this: I have a particular candidate that I'm supporting, that I voted for already, but I know one candidate I will not vote for, and that is Garnett Johnson. Since I've been in Augusta, I've been sitting back, observing, and looking to see who's who and how these local politicians interact with the public. And the other day, he was on a show, some barbershop thing or whatever it's called, but I saw part of the interview, and a woman said something about government, city government not listening to the people or something to that effect, and he went on to demean the woman. Now, this is a voter in our city, your constituent, voicing an opinion about how they feel government has not benefited them, or how government is government officials or city employees, how they, whatever she was discussing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was nothing big. It was no big deal. Somebody who actually cared about the community would have said, you know what? I understand what you're talking about. He said, I understand what you're saying. How about this? I'm gonna give you my email address. Send me an email about what you're talking about. I'm the mayor. I'm gonna try to fix this problem. He went the total opposite way. Basically told the woman, you don't know what the hell you're talking about and why you questioning me on this. That's what he did. That's the guy who wants to be the mayor of Augusta again. He should not be the mayor of Augusta. He should not be the mayor of Augusta. Another thing that I saw. There's a woman by the name of Payne who's running for Superior Court judge here in Augusta. The DA in Augusta, who's a young black guy, he saw a video of a local attorney tearing down Miss Payne's sign on the road, which, in case y'all didn't know, is illegal. You can't do that. He saw that, and he went up and repaired the sign and did whatever. But my thing is this. The young lady, Miss Payne, is highly qualified for the seat, for her to be a judge. The person that's in there now has been going against the DA's recommendations for sentencing and giving harsher sentences. Now, in case y'all didn't know, black people, Augusta's majority black. So you have a judge who is giving harsher sentences to black defendants in cases where she could be a lot more lenient, and she's not doing it. So he has called her out, rightfully so, going against it. His office recommendation. Your Honor, I think the person should get 2 years probation. Nah, they're gonna get 2 years in prison. Your Honor, it's not that deep. We want probation so we can rehabilitate. No. Give them the 2 years in prison. That's what the judge is doing. Now, for a DA to call out a judge, and Leonard, you talk to your brother about this, both of your brothers about this. That shit don't happen. For a DA to publicly call out a judge because of sentencing, with the judges sentencing people, that don't happen. So that's an extraordinary thing.
Thought he will.
Say what?
Said thought he will. Not most DAs. Thought he will as well, but not most DAs.
Yeah, most DAs won't do it, but he did it, and that's an extraordinary thing. For him to do it shows that, hey, this is a problem. And then you got an attorney in Augusta tearing down one of the candidates' signs. That's telling me right there that Miss Payne needs to be a Superior Court judge. And I actually met her a few weeks ago, actually. Just an impromptu thing. You know, she told me she was running for office and, you know, that stuff. I actually met her. So on appearance, she appears real nice and approachable. I like that. I want to have a conversation with you. If I had issues, I want to see how you feel about the issues. And we had a little brief conversation, and she impressed me. Those are two candidates running in the city. Miss Payne and I'm not. Well, let's say this: I voted for Stephen Kendrick for mayor. I'm supporting Kendrick, and I see a lot of things going on here that some dirty, underhanded things going on here, which I thought would never happen in Augusta. But I guess I was going too long. The Augusta that I grew up in doesn't exist anymore. And that's a shame. But I do want a mayor in my city that, and he also, it's so funny to see what Kendrick said the other day in an interview. He said he goes to Waffle House every morning and have breakfast. He's going to talk to me, come to the house on Walton Way and have breakfast. That's somebody who wants to listen to the people. He's telling people where I'll be every morning, having breakfast at a certain time. Early in the morning, I have breakfast at a certain time. Come and see me. You want to talk to me? Come and see me. That's the type of person we need in office. Somebody that's accountable to the people. That's what we need running Augusta. Because right now, we don't have that. We do not have that. And it's to our detriment. But, y'all, we are 41 minutes over time. You know, Leonard's driving real slow, so he ain't got to Montgomery yet. Montgomery's only, 2 hours away. And Leonard was in the car before he even turned this on. So I don't know why he ain't in Montgomery yet. But that's neither here nor there. Drive safely, brother. Be safe down there. Let us know what happens down there. Film as much as possible. And get your mother-in-law back to Atlanta or wherever she's going. Get her back safely. And tell her I apologize for my language, but I got kind of upset today. I don't normally do stuff like this, ma'am.
You're a goddamn lie.
See? So disrespectful. I'm apologizing, and you just gonna be disrespectful to your mother-in-law. See?
You apologize after you let off 50. You apologize after you let off 50 extra curse words that you said you weren't gonna curse. Anyway, y'all look.
Listen.
Hey man, look, man. Let me say my salutation. Be quiet. Hey, you need to have your sandbag moment. Dennis, you need to have your sandbag moment. Stacey already got hers. You need to figure out what sandbag you gonna put up there to plug the hole in this dike. And you need to be pissed off. And like Gary Chambers said, I'm offended that you're not offended. So, y'all have a good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. And we'll see y'all next week. Hey, everybody needs to start posting what they did every day. Y'all are part of a community that's to show me safe. Right now, we showing them that we ain't doing a lot of stuff. But that's the perception. So, forget these pastors that's not doing nothing. Nobody's coming to save us. Show what you're doing, no matter how minor. Put it up, post it. Y'all gotta start posting what you're doing. You gotta start putting peer pressure on your peers. Post it. Peace.
All right. Hey, y'all have a good week. See y'all next week, God willing. Deuces. Oh, sure. Goodness.
Interesting. Yeah. You don't curse like that all the time. She said you're interesting.